Now we can start adding those colors. So we're going to be adding the darker colors first. I have my pastels here, and I'm going to be testing my pastels on the side here. So I quite like this blue for the background, the sea in the back, and we need also something in the sky. So I'm going to go, let's see if this is going to be too light. Yeah, this is probably going to be too light. Just gonna go with something. Let's try these two. So we can go with these two for the sky. So let's do that first. Also, you can use a sheet of paper to help yourself. I'm going to use this correct straight line to create that straight line over here. So I'm adding this sky first, warmer towards the bottom. Now we will be blending it, and then we will be also spraying it, which is important for this one because I wanted to show you another technique. And I'm gonna add just a bit of that warm yellow towards the bottom here. So now I'm gonna blend it while still keeping the paper there, because it was quite cloudy that day, but it was really hot. Okay, so we've got this done. Next we're going into the sea, and now we're going to be applying those layers of color. And here we really need to apply the color and already give the sense of the movement of the sea with our marks that we're making. So here I'm going in, this is a Sennelier, it's a very soft pastel, and I'm going in the horizontal direction over here, like so. If we have gone over it a bit, it's okay. Now I think that I need something greener, and I will be using a kind of a grayish green because I want to push that background, the sea in the back, slightly away and kind of focus on the wave. So I have this gray green that I really like, and for now we're going to add the gray green over the top of our blue, trying not to go into this area here. So now we can blend it slightly. So this is kind of an underpainting, treat it as an underpainting here. I'm going to go over it with my darker blue again. This is going to give me that texture. Of the sea. So you can see it starts to kind of shimmer already. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a bit of this lighter green. I need something even lighter than that. Let's see. This is maybe too blue. So I'm looking for the right color that I would. Yeah, so we can use this. I'm just going to add some of those layers over, and this immediately gives us the sparkle of the sea. Next, I'm going to clean my hands. So always make sure that you clean your hands when working with pastels. So I'm cleaning my hands. Now we have that green wave. So I'm gonna go in and take my green. So this is the same green that we used here. And I'm going to start adding those greens onto the wave that I see. And then moving in horizontal directions because we see the wave curling horizontally. And also here. This is just the underpainting, I'm saying again. And here I'm going to add it in these movements. The same green. So we're kind of having a very limited palette here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this slightly. Be careful not to rub your fingers too much. And also this, I'm gonna blend this in. So once we apply the fixative, it's going to darken our pastels. This way, we will be able to add more lights over the top, and it's going to create more depth, and you will see it's going to look amazing. So then I'm going into violets. So grayed out violet is my favorite thing in the beach scenes. So I have this nice violet. This is a unison. And this is all the way here, where I see that wet sand. We can add a bit of grayish pink even. So this is too bright. Let's see. Yeah, this is good. So some of that warmer grayish pink in here. And then we can add the sand. So the sand, I want it to be quite cool, and it's almost greenish. So I'm gonna, let's see if this, no, this is too yellow. I know I have to find that pastel that I really like. And this is this color, so kind of an ochre color. And let's add this one. So now what we're doing is we're blending this in. As I said, this is just an underpainting. So we need that color underneath for our colors that we put on top to look more juicy. So if I lack color somewhere, I'm going to add it again. And here I'm going to start adding those blue grays that I will be using for the shadow parts of my wave. Let's see, this is very dark. So yeah, we can use this. Again, I'm using it in these horizontal movements where I see the dark bits of my foam where there's the shadow on the foam. So somewhere here, and then we also have some shadows happening, but those we can put in later. This is not so important. So I'm going to add a bit of a darker violet here, just, or maybe, yeah, just a bit, just to give it more light and more life, like so. Next, we need to deal with this area here. So it's quite dark and it's green. So the sun is kind of shining on this part, so it's lighter, but here it's quite dark. So I'm going to choose a gray green that is dark. So for that, I'm just looking through my pastels to find, so this is a gray green, perfect. So I'm going to add it here. I'm not worried about those foam bits that are visible, like the patterns. I'm not worried about that at all at the moment. And I'm going to add some of that even darker blue, so I need something very dark, very, very, very dark. So let's see, this is not gonna cut it. So I have a very dark color here. Actually, I have a very dark green color. So this is a very dark green color, so I'm going to add that one too as well, just to darken it up a bit. I'm just taking it out, kind of blending it slightly with this light. Okay, so now that we have our initial drawing ready, initial underpainting ready, the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cover. I'm just looking if my sky is slightly tilting, just to be careful that it's not tilting. Okay, in fact it is. I need to fix that before I do any because it looked as if it's tilting. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover part of the sky like so, and we will see why I'm doing this. I'm actually going to take a bit of tape, just tape that down so I don't have to hold it while I am spraying. So careful not to go over there, so I'm gonna attach it here and here. I'm gonna shake my fixative and we can spray everything. This is going to fix our pastels in place. Ugh. So while it's drying, I just wanted to talk a bit about the fixatives. There are different brands. I had a Winsor & Newton one. This is a Kohinoor spray fixative. It's good for pastels and charcoal. And basically what it does, you can also use a tip if it's just a study and you don't have a fixative handy, and you're a woman especially, you have the hairspray, so these work as well. So this is something that is going to fix your pastel layer, and you will be able to maintain those marks on the paper as when we are working with a brush and water or alcohol. You kind of wash it out, so it's not as precise as you put it with a fixative. But why do I do this? So I never fix my work when it's done, ever. But in the intermediate stages, you can spray your work and intensify those darks. So usually with pastels, there are problems with reds and with darks. And to get those darker darks, you need to buy separate sets, but you can get away with using a fixative. So that's a good idea. So you put in the first initial dark layers, and over the top, you already work with the lighter colors. Depending on the brands, some pastels react slightly differently to different fixatives. So you have to try and kind of see the reaction of the pastels. But most importantly is that those darks, if you've seen the video that I did about pastel color mixing, those darks, they will not mix in with our lights now. So we are avoiding the mud. So this is automatically no mud. And it's a very interesting kind of process. It's like you're putting a puzzle together, so you need to put one piece first. So you need to arrange everything, the darks, and then you kind of work on top of that. And this is just a bit about fixatives, because also this one, for example, it comes with a UV filter, so your pastels shouldn't fade. But if you're using artist quality pastels, they shouldn't fade in general. So now you'll see the colors that I swatched. Here I got a bit of a, look how darker that got, but it's okay. We're gonna go over with our light blue and we can fix that. That's not a problem. But you will see how much lighter. So these are the colors that I swatched over here. And you will see how much darker the colors become once you apply the spray fixative on them. So it's the same as when you are wetting your colors with water. One important thing to remember is that when you're using a fixative, I have like all the windows open here, so you have to be either outside, either you have to have very good ventilation that it kind of, you don't breathe those fumes because they're quite harmful. So that's one important thing. And now I just wanted to talk about the process of what we're going to be doing next. And we're going to be adding the lights on top of our darks. So here we're going to be working mainly with those accents now. You can see how much darker this kind of the shadows on our foam became. And also here, when we are going to be working with our lights, very important thing to notice is the movement of our pastels. So the not the brush strokes, the marks that we make with the pastel, and I will be working with the tip of with the side of the pastel. I'm not going to be working with the tip. They are going to give that painterly effect. So when you're working with the side of the pastel, it's as if you're using a brush, a wide brush. Whereas when you're working with the tip, so compare these marks, or like so, with something with the tip. So this is boring, and this already gives it some life. So now that I'm waiting for it to dry, we can start selecting the colors that we will be using for our lights.